welcome back to Coteries of New York. Last time, I rambled incoherently about clans you don't care about. And also we learned about some people to go pester into joining the coterie with us. Now let's go do that. Nap time. You notice something strange by the foot of the door of your haven. There's a letter slipped under the door in a cream-colored, old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter, it's clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, or a fan of classic stationery. No normal person sends letters like this. The note is small and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. What? I got a yawn, but it's stuck. That is the worst feeling. Distracting, too. Cathedral of St. John the Divine. You're cordially invited to a rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. There's no other information. It looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. What should we do first? He's not nearly as horrifying as I expected. Probably obfuscated. So, what should we do first? I like the idea of getting the ugly friend. And I'm not ugly shaming, like, that is seriously their whole deal. As you make your way down Clinton Street, the incessant hum of traffic gives way to the ominous silence of the waterfront. You stop to take in the familiar bouquet of the Hudson, made all the more potent by your recently sharpened senses. Across the basin, the Red Hook grain terminal rears its rusty frame, once a bustling industrial area, now a sleeping giant splayed out on the riverbank, forgotten, abandoned. Conveniently so, especially for one of the hidden. Keeping to the shadows, you sneak closer to the dilapidated complex, making your way past hole-ridden silos and wobbly chain-link fences. By the time you reach the entrance to the main building, you can almost feel the rust particles making themselves cozy at the back of your throat. Not getting your hopes up, you give the door a slight nudge. To your surprise, it gives almost instantly. Looks like someone's been using it recently. Once inside, you find yourself in a large empty hall. Looking around, you can almost picture it back in its heyday, stacked to the rafters with heavy machinery. You notice a set of chairs leading up to a mezzanine? I don't know what that is. Most likely an office space, and then you see it. Faint light coming from one of the upper floors. Looks like you're in luck. Quietly, with bated breath, you climb the steps and approach the dimly lit room. The door creaks open, revealing what looks like an old-timey detective's office, complete with crooked window blinds, an overflowing ashtray, and paper scattered across a wooden desk. Suddenly it hits you, that nagging feeling. This is all too convenient, too inviting. Before you can react, the trap is already sprung. A plume of cigar smoke wafts over your shoulder, the barrel of a gun rubs against your spine. A raspy voice whispers in your ear. Let me guess. Took a wrong turn at the third silo. Sure, let's go with this. Driven by a strange hunch, you open your mouth. You hear yourself talking, but the words are not yours. They seem to be coming from the deepest recesses of your memory, a movie you saw as a child. You don't know why, but it seems oddly appropriate. I know what you're thinking. I'm gonna try a Clint Eastwood thing here. I know what you're thinking. Punk ain't got nothing on me. I'm sitting pretty on a loaded Colt Detective Special, 5 in the cylinder, 1 in the chamber. I have no idea if that's the movie it was referencing. Probably not. I was thinking Dirty Harry. As corny as it all sounds, the stranger seems oddly receptive to your tough guy monologue, so you decide to bump it up a notch. Focusing your will, you boost your aura, filling the room with your presence. Your voice becomes smooth, oozing with charisma. A regular Sam Spade. I don't know who that is either. You yourself can't help but feel a sense of awe. Hopefully the stranger feels it too. And then there's that nagging feeling. What if there's more to this guy than he lets on? What if he's got me right where he wants me? Maybe. I should hear what he has to say. Is that right? Yeah. So we drop the tough guy act and talk like adults. You can always shoot me once you're done. For a few tense seconds, the room grows quiet. So quiet, in fact, you could swear you can actually hear the smoke swirling in the air. Finally, the stranger speaks again. Got a point there, kid. In a strange interplay of light and shadow, the stranger reappears behind his desk. Seeing him in his full, for lack of a better word, glory, you can't help but smirk. This is the dreaded Nosferatu. You just saw that motherfucker teleport, and you're like, oh, what a loser. Seriously? The way Sophie described them, you were expecting some grotesque monstrosity. But this guy? Clothes, the swagger, the hard-boiled detective routine. It all comes across as a bad joke. Lineage, a vampire's bloodline, the kindred sire, sire, etc. An archaic term. Still, when it comes to appearance, his lineage is undeniable. From 30 feet away, he could probably pass for a bum with a nasty skin condition. From 5 feet away, he looks like something made to be seen from 30 feet away. He leans back in his chair, casually pointing his gun at you. So, what brings in my humble office? Are you D'Angelo? You're the one they called D'Angelo? That's my name, kid. Don't wear it out. My friends call me Jin, so you best stick to D'Angelo for the time being. Now I suggest you tell me what this is about. Otherwise, I kindly ask you to get the fuck out of my office. I can see why Kadir keeps you. Charming. I can see why Kadir keeps you around. His expression sours. Not a name you want to casually toss around, kid. Hey, I get it. Now some random schmuck who wandered in off the street. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Who I work for is less important. What I'm working on, however... I know, I'm here to help. Red Hook murders, I know. I want to help you catch the killer. His moldy lips twist into a smile. Do you now? D'Angelo lowers his shades. For a few seconds he sits motionless with his eyes fixed on yours. Suddenly he raises his gun, almost making you flinch. Almost. Then he twirls it into his shoulder holster in a flashy display that definitely looks like it was practiced, a lot, in front of a mirror. You see the Nosferatu's lips move, but the quiet mumbling clearly isn't meant for your ears. Listening in, you're able to catch snippets of his monologue. Sure, they seem to care. What was the end game? What was their angle? Everybody's got one, even if they pretend like they don't. Especially then. And what the hell? Maybe this town finally got to me. I love this guy immediately. He's doing a film noir fucking monologue aloud. I actually heard of a brief tangent. I actually heard of someone who played a Malkavian like that, where their Malkavian weakness was that they were constantly doing film noir monologues, but instead of being in their head, they would just keep talking, to the point that at one point, the prince actually dominated them to get them to shut the fuck up, and they just kept going with the monologue, because no matter how good you are at dominate, you can't override the Malkavian weakness. He pauses, sticks a fresh cigar between his crooked teeth. And you're gonna leap of faith is just what the doctor ordered. Oh. Okay. In character, I probably wouldn't know this. Out of character, do not offer a vampire fire. Fire, bad. Fire, amazingly bad. So, we're not gonna do that. You let him mumble on, listening intently. Maybe, just maybe, I could use a healthy dose of unhealthy. Once more, he looks at you intently, as if your face was an active crime scene. He speaks again, this time in his normal voice. Tell you what, I was just about to head back to the crime scene. Take a look around, refresh my notes. You can tag along if you want. I could use an assistant.
Someone to take notes and make wild assumptions for me to shoot down. Who knows? If they're any good, I might consider making this a long-term arrangement.
What are we waiting for?
There's one more thing. You still got me at a disadvantage here. Seems like you've done some digging on me, but with you, I barely scratched the surface. Catch my drift? So answer me this. Who was it that sent you into my neck of the woods? Or in layman's terms, who do you work for?
Sophie Langley. For the first time since you got here, the Nosferatu adopts a look of genuine surprise. His eyes wander for a moment, finally giving way to a crooked smile.
So you're the one, huh? The fledgling Toreador dame spared. Yeah, that makes sense. Don't think she'd appreciate you throwing her name around. Thanks for being upfront, kid.
One blink is enough for you to miss D'Angelo vanishing from his chair. Just when you're about to look around, he reappears right next to you. Up close, his smile is even more unnerving.
Alright, moonlight's burning. Let's get cracking.
With certain fascination, you watch D'Angelo stumble his way across West Brooklyn. Oddly animated, incessantly scratching his face and neck, stopping every once in a while for a bout of mumbling narration. He is most certainly a sight to behold. Still, he seems to be getting around okay, and you take particular note of the fact that he seems to be choosing the darker, less frequented streets. There's definitely a method to his madness. Eventually, your leprous guide takes a sudden turn off of Van Brunt Street and into a particularly dingy alleyway. The torn pieces of yellow police tape are a dead giveaway. This has to be the place.
Well, here we are. Time for you to earn your stripes.
Oh man, I'm already regretting picking this voice for him.
Oh. This is where they found him. Drained dry, not a drop of blood in him. Before you ask, no, I didn't get to see the body, so I don't know if there were any bite marks. So, what can you tell me?
You take a moment to examine the crime scene. Judging by the chalk outline on the pavement, the man was killed recently. Curiously, there doesn't appear to be a trace of blood or viscera. I don't know what viscera is, and you know the city's cleanup crew isn't that fast, or that thorough. Looking up, you notice a spray-painted sign on the wall. It reads, "The Blood Speaks," in big, crooked letters. You look to D'Angelo. The Nosferatu gives you an expecting look. The graffiti looks like a clue.
Sure, kid. Might as well start with the elephant in the room. What do you think it means?
Give the sign a good hard look. It's no Rembrandt. The writing is jagged, clearly done in a hurry. Seems desperate.
My thoughts exactly. Bleh. It's as if someone wanted to get a message across but was too scared to stick around and write the whole damn book. So we got the abridged version. And then there's the blood, or lack thereof. And given that the murder was committed right here, and the victim didn't make a sound, therefore conclude that
the killer is Kindred.
Bingo. Only a Kindred could train a human this quickly, this quietly. Tell me, if you were to guess, which clan would you say our killer belongs to?
No one's mentioned the Thin Bloods yet. Huh. Anyway, I'm gonna go with the obvious one. Maybe it's a Malkavian serial killer. They're pretty nuts, right?
Nah, kid, the Moonies can be a bit playful, but there's a method to their madness. There's a certain aftertaste. This right here, it just reeks of desperation.
I guess the Thin Bloods then. And no, there's lots of there's lots of Malkavian serial killers. Believe it or not, there's a method to their madness, but they're still fucking crazy.
I might be jumping to conclusions, but my money's on the Thin Bloods.
Oh, I'm gonna regret this later.
Ah.
Thin Bloods, vampires with blood so diluted they retain many human traits. The Thin Bloods are invariably clanless. Not gonna get into that right now. Kind of a plot hole. Survivors of the last decades of pogroms, prejudice, and ostracization, their numbers now swell. Their messy street alchemy, also not gonna get into that. And ability to pass as human makes them uniquely suited to thrive outside kindred society and make their own fate in the postmodern nights. The thin-blooded can be of any mortal origin, and are not affected by their parents' clan curse, nor by their preferences in the same degree as their sire. In 2009, the Inner Circle of the Camarilla issued an edict that all thin-blooded must be branded or tattooed with the Mark of the Crescent Moon, inked by a Tremere tattoo artist or scorched with a beam of sunlight. The brand is irreversible. Okay, a couple things. The sunlight thing actually wouldn't work. The way it works for vampires, with only a couple exceptions, is that they will invariably heal back to the state that they were the moment they were embraced. Their hair doesn't grow. Their the only thing that changes with their skin is that it will either get paler, or in the case of the Nosferatu, darker. One other clan is different, but we're not getting into them. Sunlight will eventually heal. It's called aggravated damage. It's real fucking slow, but it will eventually heal off. The Tremere one would totally work, though. When you use magic, you can just, like, override it. Many kindreds still view the Thin Bloods as a threat to the Masquerade. Weaklings, runoffs, abortions, and will destroy them if given the chance. Those who don't despise Thin Bloods tend to call them the Young Ones, Chameleons, or Duskborns. They're also harbingers of the apocalypse. I'm not kidding. He pauses, spits out the mangled remains of a cigarette, of a cigar.
Shit. Looks like we're gonna have to pay Larson a visit.
You don't sound happy.
It's complicated. Larson's got a neat setup for Thin Blood anyway. Lives with his family. A mortal family, mind you. Though he's a primogen, he's managed to shield them from kindred politics, and that takes some doing. Sure if he knows who the killer is, but he could probably make an educated guess. My voice is giving out. In any case, we'd be doing him a favor. If it turns out to be one of his violating the Masquerade, it would put him in a hell of an awkward position. And I mean shitting upside down awkward. Ew. This kind of weakness the other primogen would love to exploit. His position in the council is bad as it is. I'm gonna pause for a second. I desperately need a drink.
Okay, back. I'm so sorry about that. This voice is hell on my throat. Oh. Whew. He pauses for a moment and mumbles to himself, but it's too quiet for you to make out. Finally, he lights up a fresh cigar, takes a puff, and lets the smoke escape through his crooked smile.
All right, kid. Let's get this over with.
Compared to the industrial ugliness of Red Hook, Sterling Place is quite a change of scenery. The heavily gentrified and pleasantly dull residential area emanates the sort of peaceful apathy that rich hipsters scoff at and blue-collar workers dream of. All of a sudden, the Nosferatu stops. It almost seems like he was taking a deep breath, steeling himself for things to come.
This is the place. And also where we're gonna call it today.
I should have just done that in my normal voice. Yeah, we're calling it here, in part because my throat's giving out, and also because this is probably going to be like a whole thing, and we only have a minute left on the timer. So, yeah, if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, click the stupid bell thing to get notifications when I put up a new video, blah, 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 blah. You know the drill. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.